Hello guys, how's it going today? So today, this is a video that I didn't want to make in particular, but it's just the amount of DMs I got about it, and so yeah, here's a video. So coronavirus, let's talk about it and how it's going to affect your agency. So the main 4 points I want to cover over this video is going to be number one, your priorities as an agency owner and how you should be handling the situation yourself, and in terms of priority wise, what you should be focusing on. Number two, health-wise, I'm not a nutritional expert, I'm not a doctor, nothing like that, but just some of the steps that I'm doing personally to, ensure that I am the safest possible, so that I can provide an amazing service to my clients, but also, not infect anyone else should I unfortunately get it. Point number three is going to be how your service providing will change inevitably due to the course of this whole pandemic going on right now, in terms of what you should change to your service delivery process and how you should be pivoting your ads and things of that nature and the kind of angles that you want to hit. And lastly, how you should approach client acquisition. Obviously, with it being kind of like a turbulent time right now, client acquisition is going to, the process for that is going to definitely change. And I'm going to be going over exactly like how I'm going to pivot around that and, still potentially get clients even during this time. Let's get into it. So your priorities, number one, it should be your own health, because, if you actually unfortunately get the virus, that means you're basically going to be out of commission for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks even, and you're really going to have to focus on your health and take care of yourself. So number one, I'm going to be going over my your health and what I'm doing. Number two, your number two priority should be your client service delivery, like how you can provide the best service possible at this current time and how you should be adapting your services and really reassuring and holding your client's hand through this process, because definitely right now, particularly in the e-com space with supply chains being affected and things of that nature, everything is kind of up in the air. And especially if you're running local lead gen, nobody's going to be wanting to buy houses. So if you're a real estate niche, restaurant niche, that's all shut down now. So how can you angle it and hold your client's hand through this process? And lastly, client acquisition strategies, like how I'm going to be pivoting in terms of outreach. And yeah, let's get into it. So in terms of your health, obviously with the quarantines going on at the moment, your priorities should be getting enough exercise, rest, so sleep, and also nutrition. So obviously, supermarkets are kind of down, not down, but a lot of things are sold out. Focus on your fresh vegetables intake, and to really make sure you have your vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin B, and your metals and minerals on point. So eat super, super clean, just because, your activity levels are definitely going to drop significantly with you being in quarantine. And also make sure if you have a garden or something, just sit outside for literally 15 to 30 minutes a day before 12 o'clock noon, to make sure you maximize your vitamin D intake. And if you can afford supplements, definitely there's going to be a few that I recommend. Not going to go into too much depth on that aspect of the health thing, because Billy Harris actually made a really good video. I'm going to link it down below as well, in regards to how you should supplement and things of that nature. The number two priority is going to be sleep. Make sure you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep every single day. This is because sleep is literally one of the biggest factors when it comes to your immunity and your, your immune system, and just regulating everything and maintaining homeostasis throughout your body. So make sure you get 8 hours of sleep. What I'm personally doing now is, because I'm back in Nottingham, I was in London last week with my family. I'm implementing the whole red light thing again, and just making sure that I don't really look at screens too tough after a certain time, making sure, I end my workday slightly earlier, and yeah, just making sure I block out the time necessary for me to sleep, because honestly, sleep is a massive part of your immune system. So yeah. Oh, also make sure you're working out at home. Just because the gym is closed doesn't mean that's an excuse not to exercise. Personally, I would still not recommend. I will still be going on morning runs, just because I need to get the exercise in somehow, and morning cardio is a really, really good way to do it. Also, because by going running, you're not really in close proximity to anyone, and which, obviously that means there's no risk of transferring the disease and things of that nature. So definitely make sure, even if you were to go out, like make sure that it's in a very secluded area and it's literally just to get some exercise in and go back home. Don't recommend going to like your friend's house or things of that nature. So yeah, in terms of other exercises, follow my TikTok page. I'll be uploading some home workouts, like different push-up variations that you could try and things like that. So yeah, follow my TikTok. I'll link that down below as well. Another thing that I've never heard anyone mention so far is, you know, obviously during quarantine, you're going to get very lonely if you live by yourself, like I do pretty much. So what I would recommend is, you know, every night you at least get on a video call to someone, whether that be a family member, a friend, your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. Like make sure you're Skyping someone and having like a video chat conversation, because that's going to be really, really important in terms of maintaining your mental health and like reducing cortisol levels throughout this process. Because, you know, if you're like an international student living abroad, without any of your family here, it can get very, very lonely at times. So definitely prioritize some time and segment some time out of the day to speak to family and friends. Back to more of the SMMA side of things, in terms of client service delivery, here's like are some of the changes I'm going to make personally to the way I deliver my service. So in terms of like ad copy, that's like the main thing you can change, because obviously with the current situation being so severe, your client wouldn't be able to shoot any new content essentially. So in terms of ad copy, that's where you can control the most and help them get the most conversions if you're in a space like e-commerce. So the angle that I would really hit it at, how can you contextualize your ad copy to make it actually relevant to the times? Now, this is not me telling you to, you know, mention COVID-19 in the copy, because that's basically like a guarantee to have the ad taken down. But I'm saying like, be kind of flexible with the angles that you're hitting it at and really help trigger emotion, but without inciting fear. Because to be honest, as advertisers right now, we have a massive like moral code to uphold, just because, you know, the last thing you should be trying to do with your ad is actually trying to incite fear into people. If anything, you should be like, I feel like value-based ads will work exceptionally well at times like these to try. So for example, you know, sending people to a landing page with like an article on, you know, how your client is adapting to COVID-19, things of that nature, and really just do not like be the fearmonger, and don't be like, oh, you know, this is a catastrophe, blah blah, things of that nature. Basically really try to angle your client's brand in terms of like how they want to help with the situation. So yeah, in terms of service delivery, I would change it to more of that. Also, I would also pull back ad spend on certain ad sets. So for example, you know, if you're like a restaurant or something, not if you're a restaurant, if your clients are predominantly like local businesses that are shutting down, definitely it's ideal to pull back the ad spend, just because if it's something like restaurants, they can't book in, for example, and there's like no immediate return. And, you know, to be honest, if you're a local business owner, if your clients are local business, I would even consider like just telling them to pause your service or have your retainer reduced massively for the coming couple of months. Yes, it hurts your it hurts your income, and yes, it hurts like the size of your agency and like the profit margins and things of that nature. But to be honest, at this point, like money shouldn't be the only thing that you care about. Your priority should be like, you know, how can I benefit my client the most? And perhaps, you know, change the way you do service delivery a little bit. Like if you don't want to, for example, cut the ad spend in half and cut your retainer in half, what you could do is offer an additional service at no cost to your clients. So for example, that could be email marketing, messenger chat flows, or things of that nature. Anything that could provide your client additional value will really, really help them to convert and stay with you long term. And that's the whole idea here. And, you know, like offer additional support. So for example, you know, if you were doing bi-weekly calls or like monthly reporting calls, change that to a bi-weekly or weekly based calls where you're really just updating your client on what's kind of going on within the niche that they're in, and in terms of like how they should be dealing with the situation, what kind of tactics you're trying for them, blah, blah, email, things of that nature, to really just like reassure them through this whole process that it's going to be okay, because ultimately it is going to be okay. We have seen like pandemics like this in the past, and the world has recovered from a lot worse. Now, this is probably the part that most of you have been waiting for. The reason why I left it last is because client acquisition should be the lowest on your priorities list. But I know obviously 90% of my viewers don't actually have clients. So this is essentially what is for you, because obviously if you don't have a client, then this should be your number 2 priority other than your health. But yeah, if you have clients, client service delivery should be number 1, and all the way down here should be client acquisition. But in terms of the outreach and the strategy changes that I'm going to be implementing, it's going to be mainly changing my email copy and really just contextualizing it again, same with my ad copy, to the current times. Again, same with the ad copy, the number 1 thing you should not do, I cannot emphasize this enough, although it may be effective, I have no idea, because personally I haven't tested this myself, is you shouldn't be trying to really hard sell like, oh my god, this is like a massive opportunity, like take advantage of this while you can, things of like that, because that just seems like really, really sketchy and unethical, just because, like with all of the stuff that's going on at the moment, people dying and stuff like that, you coming in and saying like, oh, this is like such a great opportunity and like you should be tripling down on your ad spend, things of that nature, it's really not helping with kind of the fear that's in people's hearts right now. And like, that's the kind of thing that I really want to get across, is like, you really need to contextualize the copy and still be very, very human about it. I actually haven't written out my new email funnel yet, which is why I can't really share any phrases, just because, I don't have any myself. But definitely starting this week, I'm going to be changing my email funnel completely, starting from scratch and things of that nature, and just really upping my game in terms of client acquisition. And because also I brought on 2 new hires last week to help me with the lead gen and outreach side of things. So I have an assistant and a lead gen person now, and it's like I'm trying to balance everything and build out the systems and processes in place to actually handle that. And obviously with the current situation, I've had to scrap a lot of the training looms that I pre-recorded, and yeah, it's just a massive headache. But such is the life of an agency owner. But yeah, number 1 thing, don't fearmonger within your email copy. Like, don't say like, oh, like all your competition are going down and they're really scared, blah blah, they're heavily affected. Don't really do that. Come more at the angle of like, I understand the current problems that you're facing, and really just be human about it, as I said once again. So yeah, like, I hope you guys found this video useful. Like this video if you haven't already. Comment down below any questions or any points that you think I would have missed. Follow me right here on my Instagram if you have any personal questions you want to ask me. So yeah, other than that, have an amazing week, guys, and wish you all the best. Remember, stay inside, stay safe, and yeah, I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Bye, guys.